Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to go over the MLB for August 12th, and as you can see the odds are on the screen. The Cubs versus the Guardians are first. The minus 118 to minus 101 is where it started. Those are called the opening odds. Cleveland more of an underdog, Cubs more of a favorite. Where does this stand now? Let me scroll down. All right, 116 to minus 102, so not much off, not much different. The Guardians are an underdog on the run line, as they are on the money line, but the minus 176 is high in this one. That is a very high number, especially in baseball, for a spread. And let's see where the money is going first. This 37%, that's enough to warrant them a pick in this one if this remains throughout the day. That is, if it remains, if it stays that way. DraftKings has them at plus 100 even, and FanDuel has them at minus 102. Not much off, but Cubs could be a safe pick on the money line, while the Guardians are a more than safe pick on the run line, in my opinion. But the money line is pretty much a pick'em. It's borderline a pick'em, not a pick'em, but borderline a pick'em game. But the spread looks pretty safe if these odds remain the same here at this 37%. Let's go with the next one. St. Louis versus the Cincinnati Reds. Minus 145 for the Cardinals, plus 123 for the Reds. Where does it stand now? Minus 134 to plus 114 currently. The home team is once again an underdog. And the minus 142, higher cost to pick them on the spread. That's where you make your money, on the spreads. The 24% is high enough to warrant a pick here with this minus 142. But the key is how low this plus 118 is. There's minus 134. If this continues to increase, Cardinals are going to win. However, if this cost is plus 118 continues, I would go with if it decreases as well. So basically, if it goes towards the negative, closer toward plus 100, positive 100. Let's say it goes down to plus 115 or something like that. St. Louis would be a safe pick across the board. This under minus 120, under 9, is getting 93% of the money, and that would be a safe pick in my opinion, as this one is, especially if this is probably going to end up at plus 100, this over, especially at this percentage. If this goes to around over 95% at around the time of the opening pitch, I would go with the over. But as it stays under 95% at that cost, minus 120, I would stick with the under. Houston versus Tampa Bay, minus 132 to plus 111. All right, minus 132 for the Astros, and Tampa Bay is plus 111 to start. Minus 126, they have decreased, as well as Tampa Bay to plus 108. And it's minus 166 for the spread, for the run line for the Rays. It's super high. And it's only 9%. At 9% and minus 166, if this continues to around minus 170, pick Tampa Bay. If it decreases below, let's say, minus 150 for the cost, I would go with the Astros in this one. As far as the money line here, the money line is 81% going with Houston in this one. 81% going with Houston. What makes me think the Rays are going to win this game is the Rays started at plus 111. They went down to around plus 102, as you can see here. Even FanDuel had them at plus 105, plus 102. Then they're back up to plus 108. More of an underdog. But yeah, I would go with the Astros in this one, only if they decrease in value, decrease in money percentage here. Only if they decrease. As far as the over under 7.5, very low. Well, quite low for the for baseball. Minus 122 for the under. Even for the over. Even is getting the 94%. So basically, these sports books aren't making their extra profit, but they could change this to minus one. They could easily change that. If this goes into the negative at all, go with them in this one. Go with the Astro. Well, the Astros. Go with the over in this one. But as it stands with the under, minus 122, I would go with that one at 6%. Stick with that one at 6%, especially if it continues to increase or stay the same at that over minus 120 at minus 122. Texas versus Boston. Let me scroll down. Texas versus Boston. Minus 105 starting. Minus 112 opening, I should say. Now they are plus 112 to minus 132. And that minus 176 is super high for the Rangers in this one. Where are we at? Right here, 30%. They're getting 30% of the money. That looks like that's quite safe. I would join the public in this one and going with Boston here and going with Texas on the run line. Should be a 1-point game, close game. More than likely, Texas on the road again. 91% to 9% is the 9.5 total. Let's see where the cost is for that. Minus 115 to minus 105, as I stated before. Usually, not all the time, obviously, but minus 105 costs hit more so than not. But obviously, the cost is going to change throughout the day. The under minus 105 is hitting more so, and I would go with that one currently. If it goes towards negative 110 even, I would go with the over in that one. Let's go to the next one. Kansas City, Minnesota, plus 112, plus 121 to minus 143 for Minnesota. Where are we at now? Let me scroll down. All right, plus 128 to minus 152 is where we currently are. That minus 176 is critical when it comes to the making a pick. And let me scroll down a little bit more here as well. And that is at 78%. I would join the public with that one as well. I would join the public in this one as well with Minnesota. Minnesota money line currently, as it stands, that is, as it stands. Especially if Minnesota increases. You see they're minus 152. They've gone up from the minus 130s, negative 130s. Now they went to the opening minus 143. They went down to minus 135, minus 136 on DraftKings. Now they're back up to over that minus 150 sweet spot. I would go with Minnesota on the ML. The run line, I would go with the Royals. Where's the money going? Over is getting 91%, over 8. And it's dead even, minus 110. The cost, I would join the public in that one as well. Across the board, join the public. All right, Dodgers versus, where are we at? All right, right here. Dodgers versus Milwaukee. Plus 110 to minus 120. And right now it is minus 110, excuse me, to minus 106 currently. And pretty much this is a pick'em game. It has become a pick'em game pretty much. And with originally the Brewers being a bigger favorite in this one, 52% of the money going with Milwaukee, 55% of the money going with Milwaukee in this one. And let's see, 97% going over with the total. And the total is at minus 118. I would join the public in that one. As far as this game, I would just go with the higher value to the sports books in this one. The higher value are the Dodgers, who are a bigger favorite now. The Dodgers are a bigger favorite in this one. but I would definitely go with the Brewers on the run line. That minus 178 is too enticing, and nobody is really outdoing each other on the run line or the money line. So I would just go where the money is going. Keep it simple. Go where the money is going. In favor of the sports books, that is. You got to think in favor of the sports books. All right, Yankees and the White Sox. That's a high, super high negative amount for the Yankees because everybody's going with the Yankees at minus 130. Minus 300, excuse me. 98% going with the Yankees in this one, that 2%. This is where a game where you would make your money. Everybody's picking the Yankees currently right here, going with that high ML value and the run line value. Where did they start? Hold on. Minus one. Okay, so basically pretty much similar. Minus 278 to plus 227. I would definitely go with the underdog. This is where you would make your money, in my opinion. Go with the White Sox in this one. I would go with the White Sox in this one. Across the board, over under, minus 105 is going over that 9. I would join the public in that one. I would join the public. Wait, where am I? Okay, right here. 98% going over. This is where I would join the public. 98%. But that is a super high amount. If this maintains, consider going under. But it's not going to hold. It's going to end up around 85%, in my opinion. I would go under in that one. As it stands, I would go over. But eventually, if it drops, I would go under in this game. All right. Toronto versus LA. Let me scroll down. Back up. All right, plus 102 to minus 112. All right, minus 112 to minus 104. So the Blue Jays are now a favorite on the money line. More of the favorite on the, more the higher cost on the run line are the Angels at plus 1.5 on the run line. Minus 162 is the cost. I would keep this simple as well. Which one is more of a favorite to these sports books? I wouldn't risk much on this one, but let's see where the money is going. 50-50, yeah. And 74% going with Toronto. I would keep it simple. Go where the money is going. Angels on the run line. Blue Jays on the ML. Over is getting minus 120 at over 9. Let's see how much the cost on the under is. Minus 102. I would only go with the over. I would only go with the under if the over continues to increase. I would only go with the under if the over continues to increase. So I would pick the under as it currently stands. I would pick the over as it currently stands, excuse me. That minus 120 is enticing. And that minus 102, I would only go under if the over continues to increase in that one. All right. Where are we? All right, Rockies versus Diamondbacks. Plus 181 to minus 217. Plus 190 to minus 230. The cost is at 120, not a high amount in this one. And pretty much Arizona is getting 100% currently across the board. 98% going with the over in this one. So I would go with the Rockies for sure. This is what I would do. That 100 isn't going to stand, obviously. So I would go with the underdog here on the run line for sure. That's a lock. However, I would go with Arizona, but I would take the risk and make my money. Consider making my money with the Rockies in this one, especially if this stays. Let's say this at 100, it's not going to stay there. Let's say it goes down to 90, 88%, 85%. The Rockies still have tremendous value to you, the consumer, and you know the the sharps. The sharps are the high bettors. They go in late. They're going to pick the Rockies, obviously. That's where the money is. And even if they lose, they would lose this minus 130, this high amount right here. There's a high amount for baseball, that minus 230. So I would take the risk and go with the Rockies on the ML. That is a risk, but this is a lock. This Rockies on the run line. Over minus 105. And over is getting, I would fade the public in this one. I would go with the under. I would go with the minus 115 cost over the minus 105 in this one. That's not going to hold up. That is going to change for sure. Let me scroll down. All right, Pittsburgh versus San Diego. Plus 135 to minus 161 it was the opening. And where are we? Plus 136 to minus 162. And minus 162, minus 162. You could go with that, but hold on. Yeah, I would fade the public in this one. I would go with Pittsburgh across the board. I would go with Pittsburgh across the board in this one. All right. The Pirates have been an underdog in most of their games recently. Not too many people have been picking them on the money line, especially. I'd go with Pittsburgh across the board in this one. Just that simple. Under is at 8. Over 95, over that 95%, I would go with the under at that minus 105 cost in that one. Braves versus Giants. Opened at even, minus 105 across the board, both teams. Now it is minus 118 and plus 100. Plus 150 for the Braves, minus 182 for the Giants. And I would go with the under 122. Hold on. The only way I would go with the under in this one, and the under is very low. Very, very low. I would pick the under in this one because everybody's going to pick over. I'm going to tell you now, everybody's going to pick over pretty much. The over is probably going to get 97, 98%. I would go with the under. The only way I would go with over is if the costs switch. So let's say the over turns into minus 120 and the under goes to plus 100 or minus 105 or something, or minus 102. I would definitely go with the under in this one. Plus 100. Let's see. 100 minus only 58% going with the Braves. 71% going with the Braves on the run line. This is where I would go with the Giants. Okay, I would go with the Giants on the run line for sure. And this is once again another one. That might plus 100, that needs to change. I want to pick San Francisco. But as it stands at that cost, you can't go with them because this has more value, much more value. But I want to go San Francisco across the board here. But yeah, as it stands, I would go with the Braves here and the Giants on the run line. But yeah, join the Patreon. Props picks are on the Patreon. We'll be going to the home runs today and the strikeouts today on the props on the Patreon. Link is in the description and in the video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Pray every day. I've been Scott. You guys take care.